So if you're new to Flutterflow, you may see this screen a lot. I see it all the time on places like Reddit, on the forums, people saying, what's causing this? So what it is, your app is looking for a value in an object on your screen and it's coming back as null. So therefore it causes an error because it can't display anything, essentially. Now, some good news is, it used to be that if you were assigning a value to a object such as a text item dynamically and you didn't set a default variable value, if you wanted to assign a value to this dynamically from a variable or from a database call, if the value you were trying to assign to it was null, so for instance in this table, if we want to try and assign it the user type column value as null, what would happen? You would have got the error. So if we would assign that user type and just click confirm, what would happen was, because there's no default variable value, it would have had a null value because there was nothing in the column of the table, and therefore you would have got the red screen of death. However, what Flutterflow seems to have done is made it so a default value is actually required. So you need to make sure you're filling these in. And the reason I'm showing you this is because you need to look out for the default variable value across basically any object that you're putting in. So any object that you put on your screen that gives you an option to add a default variable valuable, just make sure you fill it in, because that is the main cause of the red screen of death. Now, I don't know what other objects they've made this a requirement to put it in, but the fact it's on the text object is actually a really good start. So we'll confirm that and our user type there, and we will have a default value. Now, the other one that causes this, and this is the one that's causing the one we've got here, and this is one you will come across again and again and again probably, and something you need to look out for. I've got a list view here. So this is an app I did a video on about chatting to an AI assistant. I'll put the link on the screen if you want to go and watch that. And basically the list view is being populated from our thread content value. Now, the thread content is essentially a remote procedure call from Supabase where we are connecting to the OpenAI API and returning the values of the chat with the AI. Now, when you start your screen or when you start your app, there is no content because you haven't chatted with the AI. It's blank, it's null. So therefore, our value in our list view is null. So what happens is it's looking for data to assign to the objects on the page. So for instance, there it's looking for the role and it's looking for the message that we're getting to and from the AI. And we're doing that with structured data types. And we've got the default variable value in there, look, so we're getting role. But even though we've got default variable value, because the actual list view itself value is null, we get the error. So this is one you're going to come across if you're dealing with any kind of list and you're calling it from a back end. If your list is not populated before you load the page, i.e. from a back end call or whatever, then you'll get a null value because there isn't anything. And that's basically essentially, if you've got something like this where it's a chat, if you've got a chat app, for instance, it would be the same probably. Certainly this one, because we've got nothing from the chat with the AI, so therefore it's null. So because when we load our page, it's actually nothing in there. So what I'll do, I'll show you what I've actually done to overcome this. So the way I'm getting around this one is on the list view, I'm making it conditionally visible. So if it's empty, i.e. the values are null, then I'm going to hide the list view so we don't get the error. I'm not saying this is the only way of doing it, but this is a way around it, and it allows you to remove the red arrow of death. So if we make that conditional and we want a single condition and we want our action output, which is our thread content, and we want that to be set. So if thread content is set, i.e. the value of our data that we're using to populate our list view, if that's set, we will show, i.e. not null, we will show the list view. So let's go and try a reload. And there you can see we've got a blank page. So we have removed the error. So I'll just go back again just to, we'll turn that back off and do a reload. And there we've got the error back. So that's one way of getting around the null list. So if this is quite a specific use case, but I think if you're building anything where you're dynamically creating stuff in your list and there's nothing in your list before you start, i.e. like a chat with an AI, you are going to come across this problem, and that's how you get around it, or a way of getting around it. So what I've done here, I've duplicated the main page. Just to give another example, this time I'm using a grid view, which is obviously a different widget. So if we go to test mode, and so we've got the main page set with our conditional visibility for the list view, and we're fine. But if we head over there, and we've got a null value, because again, the list view is set up to show us the values of the thread content, which is the action value from the custom action, and it's null because we have yet to chat with the AI. So we've got a null value, and the grid view gives us the error. So again, you can overcome that by making it conditional. Basically, anything where you're dynamically showing information on the page from outputs or variables, but you're not actually creating the information until the page is loaded, i.e. it's not coming from a backend call on page load, it's you're being created via inputs on the page and your value is not yet created. You need to make sure that you're either conditionally showing the objects or you're putting the information in, or you'll make sure you're using your default variables, which in text objects is now required anyway. So it's just one to look out for. It's very easy to trip over on it. I do it all the time, just to make sure that you are thinking about that, and it just saves you a bit of a headache when you go looking for stuff. So hopefully that was helpful. Hopefully that can be used in your projects, and I'll speak to you in the next video.